In this video session on hydrology and irrigation engineering, I have included the following contents: the definition of irrigation, advantages of irrigation as well as the disadvantages of irrigation, and also I have included systems of irrigation. Let us first understand the definition of irrigation. Irrigation is nothing but an artificial application of water to the soil. It is usually used to assist the growing crops in dry areas and during periods of inadequate rainfall. This is achieved by constructing the dams and supplying the water to the agricultural lands through the system of canal networks. If the area is very small, then one can utilize the water trapped beneath the surface by lifting it to the surface by means of pumps. Totally, I can say that irrigation is nothing but an artificial application of water to the soil. It has many advantages. Let us discuss one by one. The first and the foremost advantage of irrigation is increase in food production. Irrigation helps in increasing the yield of crops and hence self-sufficiency in food is achieved. Coming to the next advantage, we have elimination of mixed cropping. Growing 2 to 3 different crops at the same time in the field is called as mixed cropping. This is usually practiced in the areas where irrigation is lacking or in the dry areas of agriculture. This is in general not acceptable because different crops need different field preparation, different watering and manuring. Irrigation thus helps in elimination of mixed cropping by assuring regular in-time water supply to the fields. Next, we have increased general prosperity of the country. It is also one of the important advantages of irrigation. Revenue returns from the farmers are sometimes quite high and help in the general prosperity of the country. Then we can go for generating hydroelectric power. Hydroelectric power generation plants can be erected to generate the electricity. Sometimes canal falls can also be used to generate the power. Next advantage is domestic water supply. Irrigation helps in providing the village, town or city with adequate drinking water. In addition to this, it provides water for bathing, cattle drinking and swimming. Also, we have the benefit of inland navigation through the system of irrigation. Some of the larger irrigation canals can be efficiently used for the purpose of navigation. Afforestation. Trees are generally grown all along the banks of the canals, which help in increasing the forest wealth of the nation. And also we can minimize soil erosion. Another advantage is communication facilities. The canals are usually provided with inspection roads and those roads can be used for the vehicular movement. And we have agricultural research activities. More the water, more will be the crop production and hence opportunities for agricultural research activities throughout the year. Better environment. Greenery is right from the source of water to the end point of the water, which will provide us better oxygen and thus help us in protecting the Mother Earth. So these are all some of the advantages, and also we have a few disadvantages of irrigation. The first and the foremost disadvantage is pollution. Irrigation often pollutes the environment. The traces of objectionable chemical fertilizers, insecticides and pesticides used in the agricultural fields ultimately reach to the surface and subsurface water bodies, either through seepage or through soil erosion. For example, the nitrate contents of the fertilizers will lead to the methemoglobinemia disease, which is also called as blue baby syndrome, which is associated with inadequate oxygen supply to the brain and other parts of the body. The DDT used as a pesticide will lead to the cancer aquatic life of various water bodies is also affected by the pollution of water. Coming to the second disadvantage of irrigation, we have irrigation leads to breeding places for mosquitoes. Over irrigation leads to the colder and damper climate, which in turn provides suitable breeding places for mosquitoes. The outbreak of malaria is witnessed in the vicinity of agricultural lands. Next, we have waterlogging problem. Excess application of water leads to waterlogging and affects the yield of the crops. And also we have reduced revenue. Irrigation is a complex and expensive in its form. Sometimes water is to be provided at the cost of government, and hence revenue returns to the government is rolled out. So these are all some of the disadvantages of irrigation. I repeat, pollution, that is by using most objectionable chemical fertilizers, insecticides and pesticides. The second one, breeding places for mosquitoes and waterlogging and reduced revenue. So these are all some of the disadvantages of irrigation. Next, coming to the second topic on systems of irrigation, we have two types of irrigation. The first one is the surface irrigation. The other one is the subsurface irrigation. Surface irrigation system is the common type of irrigation practiced worldwide. Water moves over and across the land by simple gravity flow in order to wet it and to infiltrate into the soil. This surface irrigation is also classified into two categories: flow irrigation and lift irrigation. In flow irrigation, we have two different types: perennial irrigation and flood irrigation. Whenever the water is available at a higher level and supplied for irrigation to the lower level by mere action of gravity, then we call that a type of irrigation as flow irrigation. Coming to the perennial irrigation, in perennial irrigation system, water required for irrigation is supplied in accordance with the crop requirement throughout the crop period. In this system of irrigation, water is supplied through river canal system or dam canal system. Also, this perennial system has two categories. One is the direct irrigation, the other one is the storage irrigation. When the water is directed into the canal by constructing a weir or a barrage across the river, it is called as direct irrigation. For example, we have Ganga canal system. Storage irrigation. In storage irrigation, if a dam is constructed across a river to store the water during monsoons so as to supply the water through the off-taking canals during the periods of low flow, then such irrigation system we call it as storage irrigation. Example, Ganga Dam project in Uttar Pradesh. The difference between these two is, in direct irrigation we will construct a weir or a barrage across the river so that there will be a rise in water level on the upstream side, and that water can be diverted to the canal system. So it is a direct irrigation from the river. Whereas in case of storage irrigation, we need to construct a dam, then we have to store, and stored water can be utilized as and when it is required by the farmers through the system of canals. I already told you that flow irrigation will have two kinds: perennial irrigation and flood irrigation. Coming to the flood irrigation, I told you perennial irrigation will have two different types: direct irrigation and storage irrigation. Then coming back to flood irrigation is an irrigation technique in which a field is essentially flooded with water which is allowed to soak into the soil to irrigate the plants. This type of irrigation is one of the oldest techniques known to man and can be seen in use Yes, This type of irrigation is one of the oldest techniques known to man and can be seen in use in some developing nations and in regions where water supplies are ample. The original flood irrigation was done by hand with help of people carrying buckets to the fields and dumping water on them. Eventually, people developed irrigation canals to carry water from wells and springs, eliminating the need to hand carry it. Flood irrigation is a natural outgrowth of this early irrigation. When it is time to irrigate, water is released and allowed to flood a field. So, this is about flood irrigation. So, this picture illustrates how the water is uh, supplied to the agricultural fields. So, coming to the lift irrigation system, when the water is lifted up by some manual or mechanical means such as pumps and then supplied for irrigation, then it is called as lift irrigation. This type of irrigation is adopted for the agricultural fields which are at a higher elevation than the water sources. So, input of water is important from the agriculture point of view. Sometimes in some places water cannot be provided to the fields as the level of the field is higher than that of the source of water. In such cases, water is required to be lifted to a convenient higher spot from which it can be supplied to the fields under command. For lifting of water, some energy is required for pump operation. It may be electric power or diesel power. There are many methods of lifting. There are many methods of lift irrigation schemes depending upon the type of mechanism to lift the water. In old days, water was lifted with the help of a person or a pair of bullocks, which was mainly for an individual need. Now, the same concept has been adopted to supply the required water to larger areas by means of various lift irrigation schemes. Water can be lifted either from the wells or from the natural river streams, canals, irrigation tanks, etc., and conveyed through pipes made of cement, steel, PVC, etc. Sometimes the water is lifted from the natural streams and discharged at suitable input points of the already existing channels from which we can make use of the water for our agricultural purposes. So, whenever the water is lifted from the low level natural streams and dumped or discharged into the suitable points at a higher elevations wherein canals are situated, then from that point onwards the water will be flowing under the action of gravity. So, this is an exhibit which shows how water is lifted and supplied to the agricultural lands. Thank you.